Hello, folks. Here we are. It's Monday, the 9th of September. That date is significant. I'll have to check with my family to see whose birthday it is. I've forgotten. Possibly my mother's. Cheers. Well, it's morning here, and I'll give a recap of my Sunday because it was a very good Sunday. Had a good weekend. Still wearing the magma one more day. Like I said, I stick pretty close to home, so there's no point in changing a lot of clothes when you're just at home. Ain't sneaking up nobody's house, not even sneaking mine up. Well, yesterday, I didn't see Blake, but Kafele Williams stopped by for the first time visiting. Kafele is another young musician from Omaha who I haven't actually played with, but I've shared gigs with. And as we talked, it turns out that his band, which is still going, their first show was a show opening for me. I forget which band. It was at Oliver's, so it could have been Sun Ambulance. Might have been a Sun Ambulance show. Capelli is another young musician. He's like I said, let me talk about him for a minute because he's a good person. Whenever I run into him or see him, his aura, literally, he gives off light. He has a bright, honest spirit. I picked up on that about him almost right away when I first encountered him years ago. So this is the first time to really get to sit down and talk to him and find out about him. He is from Omaha. Because of his age, being only I think he said he's 32. I said, who are your folks? Who are your parents? Sure enough, it turns out that his dad is a musician. Ricky Williams has played with Curly Martin, and turns out that I am almost certain that I have at least done jam sessions with Kafele's dad. And that was fun to find that out. Really good visit, and I want to share it because he brought me the book. I'll show that in a minute. But he's a real music head, and has been one of the people who watches my channel, among others. And so I was fascinated to finally see the collection in real life. But what was even better was that when it was time to play music, he wanted to hear my music. And then he said how he's always wanted to and hoped that he could work with me. So we spent a couple of hours visiting and talking about stuff and listening to my music. And I thought he played sax, and he did on the gig that I shared with him, but he has switched to trumpet, which interests me because I like the sound of the trumpet for what I'm doing. And he's in and out of town a lot, so we agreed that next week when he's back, we'll get together and try to do a session and see what happens. Now, he has performed actually with Blake, and so we'll see. I told him that I don't mince words when it comes to working on music. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'm going to tell you. Or if it's not working for what I'm trying to do, I'll tell you. The way the light changes, the light balance with things, I just always notice it. So very unexpectedly, More Mother who I saw and met Saturday night, gave me her book. When I met her and talked to her and stuff about things, and I told her I'm a collector and, I want vinyl, and she said I just have CDs and the book. Well, I really wasn't interested in buying the book. So I didn't buy it, and yet she wanted me to have it. American Equations and Black Classical Music, and she uses her real name, Kamei Iowa. So kind of her. Many blessings to you. Much love, more mother. Wasn't expecting this. And she is a real poet. I can do poetry. I've done it. So I recognize when a person is speaking in a poetic way, and she's got it. I could almost recite some of this stuff, but I'm not going to. I love how she's referencing a lot of jazz and past artists in these. This one here is Ancient to the Future, and this one is all about the Art Ensemble of Chicago. That's very cool. And here's another one called Newport Rebels, Dolphy Blues. Wow, the drum. Betty Carter for President. Now that's something I can get with right away. Betty Carter was quite the presence on the bandstand. If you've never heard her, and like Ella Fitzgerald was one of the consummate scat singers when it comes to jazz. She's amazing. I've got a few of her records. This means a lot to me. More mother, if you happen to see this, thank you. And I thanked Kafele. So being a young person, and the reality of the world is that he had to catch an Uber here. He doesn't have a car, even though he works full time. So when we were done, I told him, if you don't live way out west, I'll give you a ride home. Turns out he lived downtown, which was real nice because that made it convenient for me to stop by Grapefruit to see. I'm going to tie two things together. Because of your support and my really good Bandcamp Friday that I had, I said to myself, if this one used record that I saw them post a few days ago, if it's still there, I'm going to grab it. So I dropped off Kafele. Really wonderful conversation and company. Went to Grapefruit. It was good on two parts because since David Nance is the other main employee of Grapefruit, since Mike left, Kathleen Delahant, a local musician and personality, I started working there. And I caught her. She was working yesterday, so I got to see her and visit with her. We have a lot of history musically. It was really good to see Kathleen. And the record that I was hoping was there. Of course, there was a whole lot of stuff there that I wanted, but I said to myself, I cannot do what I usually do. So I got out of there spending less than $100. Let me show you what I got. It's because of your support that I went ahead. Honestly, I made enough on Friday that I could spend just a little bit. I said to myself, I got to keep it under 100. And I did. The record that I was hoping would still be there is a return to my collection because I used to have this. And when I sold it, I was out of my mind. I really wasn't thinking well. One of the times I sold a bunch of records. Association PC Live with Jeremy Stein, Mama Cuckoo. This is so excellent. The PC, I believe, stands for the drummer, Pierre Courbois' name. I had this a long time ago, probably all the way back to the 70s. I had it. And I'll admit that I've had records before I really appreciated them fully. And I think this is one of them, because when I got it yesterday on the fantastic MPS label, I put it on right away. I remembered it. It was like, boy, it took me back. It's like, this album there's a punk energy to some of the songs here. There's free jazz on here, and there's compositions, and they really get it cooking. It's a great band, and Toto Blanc on guitar is a monster if you've never heard him play. Well, all these guys, Joachim Kuhn is on piano on here. This is fire. As they say in music, when shit gets cooking, it's fire. I have sold, sadly, many records like this in the past where it's like, I don't know what was wrong with me. Like the Factory Sampler. Even when I sold it, I got money for it. And actually, as I sold it, regretted it. But I was in this religious phase where it's like, it's the devil's music. It's so stupid. That shit is so motherfucking stupid. So, they had a lot of other stuff that I wanted. But I bought 3 more records that I really felt like I can't leave without these. 2 of them were priced. She gave me a discount. They give me a discount all the time anyway. I don't expect it, but they give me a discount. So this I knew had to take this home. Max Eastley, Steve Beresford, Paul Burwell, and David Toop. World Music. This is a reissue. I love the title. We have world music, but what about world music? This originally came out excuse me. Try to look this up right quick. I think it came out in the 70s originally. This is wonderful. Folks who like ASMR type of stuff, this would be something I would highly recommend to people like that, because it's literally what it says it is. It's originally came out in 1980. Recorded in 1979 though, okay? And it's a variety of literally these instruments that in order to play them, you have to whip them around, whirl them. I haven't dived into it, but it has an accompanying book. This is on the Black Truffle label, which is a high quality label. But this has all the recording details, drawings of the instruments. David Toop is a friend of mine through Facebook. I've never met him, but every now and then he'll post something and I'll comment about it and it will respond. So it feels genuine. This is killer. You know, you would think on the surface, well, how could an album of where you're just listening to people whirl things around could be interesting? This is wonderful. I love sound, and this is captivating. That's the best thing I can say about it. It's captivating. World music. Love stuff like this. I just love it. And then thankfully, they had out in the used section 2 more of the Harry Bertoia records. Now, I had said that I thought at first he was from Nebraska, but I was wrong. He's Italian. I looked him up. But what it is that there are Bertoia sound sculptures in Nebraska. And a performance I did, there was one on display or something like that. Anyway, I was really happy to get 2 more of his. They have the box set down there behind the counter. and I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I'm glad that they also have the individual records. And I got these for $12 a piece. I haven't even played these yet, to be honest with you. Experimental 1. These are black vinyl, which is fine with me. I don't need color vinyl. It's fun when I can get it, but I don't have to have it. Some records, actually, it's kind of cool that there are black vinyl. I can't necessarily explain why I think that. But I got that one, and I got this one. Sun Ambient. I love that. Glowing Sounds. I like that. Haven't played it yet, so this hopefully gets played today. So we did, Capelli and I did talk a little bit about the collection, but we didn't, like I said, he really likes my music and was getting ideas and was humming melodic bits as he listened to things, he said, I'm inspired. I'm looking forward to seeing if I can play on your tracks. But one record because it was sitting right here, he was sitting there, my M's are right here, and Meshuggah, I had just been watching recently the live video of Meshuggah at Bloodstock, the most recent Bloodstock. Powerful performance. That's a band I'd like to see, mainly to see Thomas Hawk play drums, mainly. Love this band, so I recommended Meshuggah to him. Immutable. I think this is their latest album. I think it is. This is killer. They just keep pushing the bar. There's a couple of tracks on here where it's like no one has done that before in metal. The Abysmal Eye is one. And God He Sees in Mirrors. This shit is groundbreaking musically. It's like they'll be playing this. It's like and they have the stuff tuned down so low that they'll bend the strings in the neck to the point that it sounds like rubber bands popping back, and then they'll go into a very unusual melodic phrase. I love that band Meshuggah. Love them. Okay. So I spoke to Jerry King over the weekend asking if he would be interested in coming on the channel to talk about his music, Cloud Over Jupiter. I'm overall quite impressed with this. Now, what's interesting is in the folder where I was playing my music, the track that I play on this was also in there because it's a working folder. And when this track came on compared to mine, it's like a real contrast. I'm very proud of my music. That's what I'm trying to say. Because this is good. And the track that I play on, I wouldn't say is one of the featured tracks of the album, but it's an interesting one. The one with Rick Parnell on the drums and Paul Sears. It's in 3 parts. But I was like struck with how when it comes on right away, the difference. It's like, man. And the other thing that Cafele, well, let me finish this. So Jerry has agreed to let me know when he can do a Zoom, because I'd like to have him on as a guest to talk about the album and more of his work. And it's also on the label's late website. Melodic Revolution. When I went to the website, it was like one of the features, big banner. That's so cool, I just love it. So hopefully I'll hear from Jerry to see when he wants to come on and do a Zoom. That's my next guest. I've inquired a couple other folks. I haven't heard anything, so I won't say anything. I'm not chasing people. If the opportunities come, I'll take them. Some other records sitting out. Yes, soon. Promo single from the Gates of Delirium. I love promos, and I love Yes. So I posted that online yesterday, and I also posted the Comsat Angels, a forgotten band. totally underrated. I think these guys were excellent. Do the Empty House. I have most of their records, and I like them all. And I was I thought they had what it took to make it. Steven, I forget his last name. The lead guy was good looking, but in a dark kind of way. The rest of the band were not so memorable in looks. So sad how that makes a difference in. Over time, it became more evident that if you're good looking, then we can sell you. Sex sells. I thought they had enough of it, but they didn't. The music is real good. And The Edge from U2 admitted in early interviews that he copped part of that echoey sound that he does that is trademark to him. He got the idea from touring with the Comsat Angels and watching those guys play. So often that's the backstory with a lot of music and art and other things in life, that the people who are really responsible for the innovations are not known about, forgotten. Someone else gets the credit. Right quick, I wanted to comment. Thank you for the feedback, you folks who are telling me about how much you do like the music. And one person here shares that Interlude has been in constant rotation in his car for weeks now. Awesome. And that really is a good way to hear the album. He said he hears, he says, would I be wrong to hear a little bit of Police synchronicity in there? Well, you're not wrong, but that's coming from you, because I don't listen to the Police. I've never bought a record by the Police. I don't rate them, honestly, even though they were good at what they did. I saw them live, and when I saw them, it was already over. Sting was so bored. It was like he didn't even hide it from the audience. He was just so bored with being there. Did not care at all. It was like, pay me the money, I'm the fuck out of here, you know? So no, there is no direct. What I would say is, if you're hearing something like that, I'm going to say it's a testimony to the quality of what I'm writing that reminds you of something that well known. I'll take it like a compliment like that. Because no, I don't listen to no damn Police. I don't. So this morning I took a look out there to see if I'll get these ideas and then they'll fade away about doing a particular. Well, the thing is, like, I show a lot of records, but I probably haven't shown a lot of my real favorite, like, songs. It's not necessarily it's the whole record, but like I have records and CDs where it'll be like a song or two. Let me see if I can just grab something real quick. I was thinking of Heidi Berry to show her. I would love to have her records on vinyl, but I don't. I love Heidi Berry's voice and the music. Can't remember what she's singing about. I just love the sound. Okay, so nothing is speaking to me over there. So to wrap this up today, I'll do another poll. Let me see if I've shown everything down here. I may not have. I was thinking there was a record that got buried here that didn't get shown, but it's not coming up. So, okay. So, when I went over here and grabbed out of the J's, we got Elton John. Who else is over here? What do we got? Antonio Carlos Jobim, Wave. What a composition. Wave is one of the. I used to play this with my brother in the Pat Higgins Jazz Quartet, and it was a favorite. It's so beautiful. I love it. It was one that I learned well enough to play around with the changes. He's an amazing writer as well as musician. And come on, light. I guess I need to put in a little new light bulb. It's flickering. Have you heard? Surely you have. It's like Sergio Mendes opened the door for Americans to start hearing this stuff. You know, I do wish that I could play the music for you. I'm just not going to chance it because, again, when I was doing it, I go back and a lot of those videos were blocked. So, but again, if this stuff interests you, you can look it up. Okay? Now, the other day I pulled from the W's here and got the Welch Farrar album. Let's see what comes up today. And again, I don't look. That way it's fun for me. I kind of know where things are, so okay, this one is coming with 2. So what did I pull? Oh, here's one I need to play. It's been a while. Michael White, the violinist. Spirit Dance on Impulse. If I'm not mistaken, he passed away not that long ago. I think I first heard of Michael White from the jazz rock band Fourth Way. And I cannot remember this album at all. Yeah. So see, that's why this is fun to me, because it's another way of rediscovering my own collection. And that was one of the things that Cafele asked me, because he was just gobsmacked with all the records. He said, do you really know what you have? Do you actually remember what you have here? And I said, no, I used to. I have this mental template from the past that is always there about what I have, which is, but there's a lot of stuff that I bought that I've forgotten that when I go. So, in the W's, the Whites, Lenny White presents The Adventures of Astral Pirates. This is cool. This is a good album. Jazz rock, fusion. Well, how about that? I'm looking here. I'm going to pull it out. I had not played this in quite a while. This is co-produced by Al Kooper and Lenny White. Al Kooper, who famously played with Bob Dylan. Just if I understand correctly, he wasn't necessarily hired for the session, showed up and they just asked him to play, and the organ, is it Blonde on Blonde? I have that. But he also started the band Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He's a great producer too. I have a lot of respect for Al Kooper. I do. I haven't played this in a while, but I know I like this album. And I like Lenny White, and I've shared before that he's another person that when I saw Return to Forever, after the show, Lenny White and Al DiMeola went down to the Howard Street Tavern. Stanley Clark and Chick Corea went to Alan's showcase. My older brother went to the showcase. I went to the Howard Street and got to got to hang out with Al and Lenny and have a beer with them. People like, when I've met people over the years, I love it when the musicians that I meet that I respect and admire pick up on the fact that I'm one of them, really through demeanor and a little bit of conversation. When I met Jack DeJohnette, it was like that. You know, treated me like a peer, like maybe I was even going to be on the session with him. The same was with Lenny and Al. It was like I was just another friend of theirs. It really, really, really warm and wonderful. When I met Gong, they were so inviting. The bands Ride and both Slowdive. You know, when I met Slowdive, they were barely out of their teens. Rachel and Neil were real fun. and kind of silly. I love these moments. I love sharing them too. I do. So I'll just do one more because it's kind of fun. Let's go down here. Radiohead, Residents, and stuff is down here. But below that, what will I get? Oh, what is down here? These are jammed together. Oh, okay. So I can't get one. What did I get? What do we have here? Oh, okay. That's like I said. I went to the Residents. I thought I misspoke. It's the lower shelf with the Residents. And this is the Residents Warning Unincorporated. Here is one that I have gotten in recent times. I'll be honest, my days of listening to a lot of the Residents are over. When I get into the mood, I do still. It was no fluke for me to bond with what the Residents do. I have no idea what this sounds like from looking at it. So once again, this is fun for me, and it'll be some discovery in my own crates. These were kind of stuck together, so I'll show them all. The Residents doing Hank Williams' Kalijah. This is the dance mix. And I do actually like it. And as a child, I liked Hank Williams. So in general, I'm not real big into country, but it's not totally true. I love all kinds of music and I can appreciate almost everything. But from childhood, the names that I remember my grandpa played a lot of country that I could enjoy was Hank Williams, Porter Wagoner, Webb Pierce, Marty Robbins, Charlie Pride. Okay? Those are some that come right away. That's like imprinted in my deep memory. What's the next one that I pulled? The Residents, Hit the Road Jack. Special Almost Dance Mix. Side 2 is Jambalaya. And a couple more. Yeah, these are getting popped on because it's been so long. And this, when this came out, I got into this. So I know this album, God in Three Persons. And this is instrumental excerpts from God in Three Persons. This came out when 3-inch CDs were being marketed. And so I have a 3-inch CD of this. God in Three Persons. I forget the gist of the story because their stories are interesting. I don't remember it right offhand. I'm looking. I thought this is clear vinyl. Clear vinyl. So, to wrap it up, because this is a long video, because I'm just going. When people inquire about artists that are well known, I know about most of that stuff. And I respect good artists. Like someone asked me about Tracy Chapman. I have a Tracy Chapman 3-inch CD, okay? But I'll say it again. There is so much music out there that staying within the mainstream just doesn't make any sense to me. And why even talk about it unless it's something that I really like and want to talk about? Otherwise, this is what I'm about and have been most of my life is, real music and what's going on besides everything that's shoved in your face. So I like doing that, telling you about music that maybe nobody else will tell you about or you won't hear about too often, okay? But I'm familiar with the mainstream stuff, and I like that stuff. I got Fleetwood Mac. That's Bare Trees and Future Games are the Fleetwood Mac albums that I have that I really like. But everybody talks about these bands, and so there's no reason for me to. It's more fun to tell you about this stuff, okay? All right. Thanks again for everything, folks, for your support, for your kind comments. I'll talk to you in a minute.